Hello, everyone. Good afternoon on this beautiful Monday. So, this is part two of my walking into TikTok, being a single mom of five, and starting my journey of being a social media influencer and also wanting to give some encouraging words to, people who have been in domestic violence relationships, that are single moms, people that are becoming new moms and stuff like that. So basically part two to, what I was, my first video, for those of you that did see it, and for those of you that haven't, I would like for you guys to go back up my page, like and follow, comment. But I came to the point of, realizing for myself that I had to stop blaming myself and just being more aware of my situation, along with I became so protective of my children after going through that situation, the domestic violence situation. And like I told you guys, I went back. I didn't just go through the situation and walk away. Like, he went to jail and I went back after. Well, I didn't go back. He came to me. He was dropped off at my house, basically, like the little Amazon package or whatever. And, after deciding to try to work on a marriage, and I knew deep down in my heart that it was over with, but, listening to outside sources, sorry guys, that's my house phone. Yeah, I do have a house phone, by the way. I remember back in the day, my granny always said, y'all with these new gadgets, one day that cell phone gonna break. You better get you a house phone. That is my number 5, y'all, my youngest. But yeah, so basically, I've been doing domestic violence classes. I do mental health classes. I have a therapist. I suffer from PTSD. And, people always say, oh, I was the victim. I was a victim. I was a victim, of course. But I also, now that I'm older, I realize that I played a part in it. And not only that, but I know how to walk away. The hardest part about walking away, but still having to have some type of communication with this individual and trying to heal from your trauma and be a better person for your children, teaching your children, sons and daughters, how to love themselves and love one another, but also set boundaries, as basically it's called self-healing. And sometimes I would have to just take time to myself and just come in my room and just be like, you know what? I need to get on my knees and pray, and whoever you believe in, sometimes you got to fast. Sometimes you got to pray, just take time for yourself. Even if it's just, I found that I'm a big kid at heart. So I had a car issue one time, and basically I was on TikTok shopping. They had these little electric scooters. So, I reached out, asked my kid's dad for help. He was, I'm not helping you, figure it out. Okay, I've been figuring it out, whatever. I just asked just to see if you would help. And I got me an electric scooter. I took my babies to school and I made it happen. I figured it out. I did them one at a time, the two little ones, and then, I had rode with my oldest son. But at the end of the day, it's like learning how to love myself and not needing validation from a man or, my parents or whoever, just we have to learn how to self-love. And doing that, it doesn't even have to always come with the price, because there's a point in time where I used to be very materialistic. Far as I felt like I had to buy my kids for them to feel like or think that I love them, and that wasn't the case. Just giving them quality time and just simplest stuff like I could go buy a pack of balloons and blow them up, and they just gonna run in the house and have fun with them. Even the older ones, having them help me cook. Going to the grocery store, letting them pick out stuff, but just going through that. And once I became self-aware that and knowing how to love myself and knowing that I didn't need a man, now it's like 10 times harder for me to really want to go out and date or anything, because it's so hard to trust people. I dealt with, you know, daddy issues, mommy issues and stuff like that. Like, I know my parents, but, I didn't have the best, childhood or upbringing, but wanting to be the best parent for my kids and loving on my kids, because that's something that I didn't have. It just, people don't realize that when you're not there for your kids, the things that we go through, it does affect them, because we don't think that they're looking and they're watching. But there's been times where I thought I was just crying and went to the bathroom to take a shower, and the little ones, they walk in and, "Mommy, why are you crying? What's wrong?" And it's like they felt that energy. So now that I know that, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gas station, I'm gonna run and go get food, and I take that time for myself. But needless to say, being a single parent, people always tell me I make things look easy. Trust me, it's not easy at all. I've been homeless before with my kids. There's a lot of people I didn't tell. And I mean, we've slept in a car before. It's just a matter of finding that peace of mind and running away from the problem. Now that my children are older, the first three that experienced, the whole DV situation with me, now that they're adults and growing up, it's scary because I don't want them to have to go through that. And I just pray that, my son, he's seen that hurt that I went through, and that, I'm teaching him that, when you grow up and you start dating and liking girls, like, that's not, you don't put your hands on a girl, learn how to communicate. You can be gentle. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a loud situation and, stuff like that. And trust me, I've grown, because I used to be the rah, 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 like, but, and it sucks because remembering, just going back and even talking about it right now, just certain things that come up in my head for an individual to tell you, like, oh yeah, I got to put my hands on you for you to listen. And thinking about it now, it's like, nigga, you ain't my daddy. Like, my daddy, my biological father, ain't never put his hands on me. So when I think of things like that, and I know that I have a son, and I gave this man not one but two sons, and that's how you thought of things. And then you're upset because you call me and ask me, do you want me to get the kids some fireworks? And I'm like, no. And the divorce agreement was just, you didn't have to give me money in my hand, just pay the utility bill. Like, that's it. And you ain't did that since 2024. And you have the nerve to tell me I'm delusional. And he's, oh yeah, I'll take you to court and then you'll be paying me child support. Like, okay, I'm not an unfit parent. Yeah, I've made a mistake and got myself into some legal issues, but none of my kids were affected by it. And the only way, if my kids do know or find out about it, is because I chose to tell them. Outside of that, like, I'm here with my kids 24/7. I choose to work from home so I can be with my kids and not miss a beat in their life. So that has been like what's been puzzling with my mind right now. But outside of that, my therapist was like, just pray, stay positive, and see him in court. But part 3 will be coming up in a little bit, you guys. Have a good day.